Alright, this is Rhonda's video, and we talked about the triad theory before during Jackson's lesson. And then we went a little farther because we're going to be doing some blues kind of stuff. And we started talking about going up and adding the seventh of the chord, which if your chord is built like on a chord like a C that starts on the first line below the staff, and the second note of the triad is going to be on the bottom note of the bottom line of the staff, and your third note's going to be so on the second line. So they'll build chords will build like line, 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 or they'll build space, space, space. You know, that's how the chords are built. So if you add the seventh, if you look at it on a piece of music paper, it'll be on the following space above it. Up fifth, if it's space, 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 it'll be in the next space. And then the seventh, it would be on a chord that's, let's say, treble clef E on the bottom line, E, G, B. Well, your seventh is going to be on the next line up, or the D, and it'll happen to be a E. It'll actually be a natural. It'll be a D natural. So what it depends on is it the top seven will be a whole step below the octave. So here's let's go to a C because that's what we were kind of working on. Here's a C, here's an octave, and the minor seven, which we build these seven chords on, is going to be a whole step or two half steps below there. C, or rather B, flat. So it's there's the triad, and there's the B flat for the seven. It has that sound like we talked about Mustang salad. Alright, and then we talked about you will play the little bass line in the beginning. And then when we play that bass line, we're kind of using a C, so you're hearing it even though it does move from the C to the G in that bass line. It's concentrating on the root. So we sometimes, seven chord, we don't need all four notes in our right hand to imply the chord, and we don't even need all four notes on the keyboard to apply it. The most important ones to imply seven chord are going to be that seven, which is that minor seven, and often the third in the right hand, because we have the root often in the left hand, and so then we would have like a, and that's still kind of laid out, everything's laid out right there. Then you talked about using this voicing in your right hand for it, which worked out really well, because when you come up here to your right hand would still be out of the way, right? And it would still be out of the way coming here. So I try to think about how am I going to keep my right hand out of the way of the bass a lot of times. So here is the C chord, the C7 we were using was in the right hand was B flat with our thumb, and then E and G. So we're using the flat seven or the minor seven, and then the third and the fifth. Right hand. And then we said what voicing for the F7 could be kind of tightly voiced with that. Well, we kind of messed around with it and decided that we would move our thumb up to the C, which is the 5. And then we're going to go to the we're going to go C, E flat, A, right? So what will we do? Yeah, C, E flat, C, A. So it goes from this 7 chord to this 7 chord. And on this first one, we have a tight interval, a minor third here on the top. And we're going to switch to the 4 chord. We're going to have a tight interval here on the bottom, and then we're going to go back to here, the 1 chord, then we're going to go to the 5 chord, which is a G7. Well, I just thought, where are my hands close to? Well, they're kind of close to my thumbs, close to the B, which is the third of that G chord. And I could just, I could play 3, 7, 1, okay, which is slow. There we go. Back to the 4 chord that we had. So that what I used there was, I know I'm going to need a 7, so then I'm going to need that on that G chord. I'm going to need this 7, and I want probably the 3, and my thumb was on the B flat, so it moves easily to the B. And then I'm going, okay, I've got these two, so I could either add this. It sounds kind of, maybe it starts to sound like what we talked about, a little money, too much. So I put it up here. It sounds better. Does it sound better? What sounds better? What sounds more unique? This kind of sounds the word, they call them when they stack them all, even the two root positions. Because it's really, all you do is if you did this, and all in the root position, you just eliminate the G. It has that really plain vanilla sound to it. But if you go 3, 7 octave, it sounds more like you'd hear a guy down from New Orleans play. And then we're going to go back to the 4 chord, and we had that we had the tight voicing here on the bottom. That still sounds cool. And then we're going to go to the C7, and we had it right here. You count these things like all right, that should keep you busy, huh?
Yeah.
All right. And it's not bad to play these to a drum machine if we can find the right beat in here. It should just be okay, just like that.
Okay.
And this is like this. This is so it just be drum machine.